Say good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good
How is
evening,
everybody? Good evening.
afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
What time is it where you are?
We've got a really, some good news. It's finally raining. And it's cool. What's the temperature today? Look, 24 degrees.
Oh,
So it did hit 50 degrees this week,
yeah,
didn't
we
it?
saw in the workshop we saw 52 degrees, and it was ridiculously hot. And I have been struggling to work in those temperatures, but yeah, I kept hydrated. I'm still here. I'm still working on BedBug, but today hopefully the weather's nice and cool. I'll be able to get some video done for the next episode. So yeah, all good.
Yeah, you weren't too sure, were you, if you could continue?
I was hitting the wall at just over 50 degrees. That's me maxed out. I can't do any more than that.
But I think that's really impressive.
It is, especially as I was doing body work and the filler was going off on the mixing board quicker than I could get it on the car. So yeah, it was pretty tricky.
Yeah, so we're quite happy today. It's not going to be so sweaty and humid, but I think it's going to stop raining in about 2 hours or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've got a couple of hours of rain and then it's going to start heating up again. But if I can get some work done in between that, that'd be fantastic. Otherwise, we might have a little bit of an issue because this project's going to take too long otherwise, just trying to mess around with this intense heat of Japan. I mean, obviously I've got windows, doors, a fan, a cooler, I've got everything. And
a frozen ring.
It's a frosty ring for my neck. But it just seems that there's a limit to what a fan and a spot cooler can do. And I think when it gets to about 45 degrees, I think that's pretty much their limit.
Yeah, Joseph. Hi, Joseph. He's saying, what are you working on? So I'll show him the car.
Oh yeah, we're doing some more work on BedBug. I'm hoping in the next episode I can get around to making the little channels that go around here just to hold the rubber ceiling, because I really need to start getting on with getting this back end prepped and getting it filled and the rest of it. But today that would be absolutely fantastic.
It's quite spacious, isn't it?
It's got a lot of room.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think sometimes when you look from the outside, you can't really.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of room around the engine bay still, so that's great. A lot of room to kind of work on it, and that was one of the things that the customer wanted. With this hatch shut, and if it was welded, it'd be very difficult just to do all your work just through the engine hatch. A little bit like working on, say, a bus that doesn't have an inspection hatch. They can be a bit tricky, but having this open here, you will have no problems working on this engine at all.
And I don't know if Joseph, it's the first time that you've joined us, but there's another car here. This is a 1967?
67, 1 year only.
1 year only Beetle.
That's pretty much this here, isn't it?
Yeah. Joseph's saying refab or homemade.
Refab or homemade? I think this whole car has actually been homemade. It's been homemade to start with. And then what I've been doing is basically making the parts for this car using very, very limited tools. So yeah, I could. This is officially a homegrown pickup truck that was built many, many years ago, then being rebuilt. Yeah, it's just a bit of fun. So no real. In fact, I don't think we bought any panels as such. The customer supplied an engine lid, as this was just a void. And we had to fabricate all the panels around it, and things like the back window surround. He supplied a back window surround, but yet again we had to make that fit a large hole. So yeah, a lot of the stuff on this has actually been fabricated.
Hi, Master Mini Car. Yeah, so, and then there's the last one, is a little Daihatsu Mirror.
Mirror Turbo, yeah.
Turbo, that was the first car, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the first car we got from a scrapyard. That was in really bad shape. It looked like a forklift truck and lifted it up underneath and basically squished the bottom of the car. But not only that, they put straps through the door frame and the rear windows and lifted it up, so it increased the roof quite badly and the pillars. So all that had to be done. I mean, that particular car is already painted. I haven't gotten around to fitting it up. It really doesn't need a lot. We've even found an original set of wheels and reconditioned those and they're waiting tyres. But I've got to prioritise my time on this project here, which is Project BedBug, and the 67 and the mirror, they're my personal projects. Unfortunately, they've got to go on the back burner until I get this job done for a customer.
Joseph says, sounds like you've got your work cut out for you. It's coming along, I suppose.
Yeah, it is one of those kind of things where it is coming along. It was very, very bad. It was borderline on not being able to save this car, but we took on the challenge to try and do something with it. And yeah, I mean, it may look like it's kind of half done. I mean, once it's going to be finished off the rest of the welding and got it into bodywork and then into primer, then it will feel like we've actually achieved something, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll just show you a video of the front of it. See if we can get it all in. So it's like a little Beetle there. So the rain's quite noisy today. This week on your latest video, you got quite a lot of comments regarding tools and equipment and things like that, didn't you? And I think we just wanted to explain a little bit about leaving the UK and going over budget on our house, which it wasn't a little bit over budget, it was
a lot over budget.
Yeah, 3 times what we planned. But I think it's like with anything, sometimes when you make most of the time when you make a plan, it doesn't quite work out. So it kind of left you with a little bit of savings just to get mostly the basic tools. And
that's right. I mean, when I was in the UK, I pretty much had I was working for a company and I had quite a large workshop. I had access to all the tools. I had my own tools. And then when we left the UK, I got rid of the tools and we pretty much went to the UK empty-handed. And from scratch, I had to buy all the basic hand tools. And as this channel is progressing, or as we are doing okay in Japan, we're slowly investing in more and more tools, but we are nowhere near fully equipped. So doing projects like this with just very bare minimal tools is something that anybody that's kind of in my position, that they want to fix a car and they don't want to invest, this is a really good way of showing people how to fix stuff without actually having the proper tools and getting maybe a reasonable job. So yeah, it's quite exciting. It feels pretty good starting from the bottom and then working up.
Yeah.
Because hopefully as the channel progresses, people will see how the workshop and the tooling and everything else has come on, and also the workmanship will get better as you get better tools.
Also, I think most people don't have all the professional tools, do they? If they're just doing it as a hobby or on the side and they've got a main job.
That's right.
They have probably more tools like the kind of tools that you have.
Yeah, that's right. All the tools that I've got are readily available and relatively cheap tools. And there's a lot of people out there that would like to restore their own cars at home or have a go, and they don't know where to start. And sometimes you think that you need all these expensive tools, but you don't necessarily need all those.
It just makes life easier.
It makes life easier. It could make things quicker. I mean, obviously, the professional workshop, you expect them to have professional tools. But if you're at home and you're trying to build a project like this by yourself, and you don't have that, all those expensive tools, is it possible? But I think it is. I think we've kind of proven a point.
Yeah, and I guess as you go along and get better tools, maybe it will attract a different kind of audience. But I think at the moment it's good for people who have just got the basics and doing it on a bit of a budget.
Yeah, I think this is really, this channel from the very start is recommended for a DIY mechanic that starts with absolutely nothing. And then they can follow our journey of actually accumulating the tools and I would actually like to do a video on some of the tools that have broken.
There's quite a few, isn't
We
there?
have broken so many tools, and I know there's that saying, buy cheap, pay twice, and that has happened to quite a few things. And also I made some mistakes, like I bought a compressor which I thought was pretty good. It had quite a large capacity. It wasn't large enough for using the air tools and the spray gun, so I had to then buy another reservoir and lots of fixtures and fittings, and in the end it cost a fortune for something that wasn't going to do the job. So that ended up having to be kind of, we had to stop doing any more work on the small compressor and invest in a large workshop compressor. So things like that I didn't really kind of budget for. And
Everything, you're learning a lot, aren't you?
I'm learning a lot, and the availability of tools in Japan is different to the UK. You know, simple things like a decent MIG welder setup is not easily to get hold of in Japan. They have a very old-fashioned type of MIG welder setup with power inverters and a separate wire spool and things like that. And all I wanted was an all-in-one unit. And at that time, I couldn't get one. They're unaffordable, and I ended up buying a gasless welder, and I've been doing all this work with a gasless welder, and it's been tricky. But then I'm not used to gasless welding. I'm a MIG welding guy. I use gas, but so that's something that I want to invest in. But it's good because if you guys want to start from nothing and you want to repair something that involves welding, I really do recommend getting a gasless welder. I mean, it's done the job.
Yeah.
It really has. I mean, it's restored pretty much 3 cars. And
You said it was about £100.
the price of it was ridiculously cheap. And I didn't have much faith in it. It was, I think it was a Chinese welder. It was about £100. I mean, you can't even get something welded in the UK for £100, let alone buy
Can't get a
one.
Big Mac for £100.
A Big Mac probably cost £100 now.
Unsul is saying hello from Turkey.
Oh, hi, Turkey.
And Joseph has to go. So thank you for your comments, Joseph.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. Make sure you watch the next video.
He said it looks like the front of a bug.
It does. He's right.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, that's what it is. So also when we decided to leave the UK, we actually kept our flat there just in case it all went wrong. So that's probably, if we sold that, we'd have a little bit more to put towards the business, wouldn't we? But we just don't feel comfortable just yet.
Yeah, not quite yet.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe, would you say in 1 to 2 years?
I think after a couple of years, you really know what you're getting into, and it's quite final, isn't it? If you sold everything you have to then commit yourself to a life in Japan. And I know people do that. I know people, they may not be able to afford to do it otherwise, but for us, it's nice to have that bit of security. You don't know what the future will hold. Although we've spent a lot of time in Japan, we've never lived here long term. So it's good to have that bit of security, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's strange because I think sometimes I watch videos about people moving abroad, and there was a lady that moved to Dubai, and 18 months down the line, she just said she hated it and she had to go back. So even though we're quite happy here now, there's still that possibility, isn't it? That
Yeah.
I don't think we will change our minds, but you
No,
just never know.
I think
do you?
we're really happy the way things are working out here. But it just feels like we need that little bit of security still, just having something in the UK. I'm not going to say that things are going to go wrong, but you know, in the future, it's just nice to have that, just to know that you've got something there.
Yeah, and we did like that. We love that flat, don't we?
Still do. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a wicked place. Yeah, really nice flat.
What are you doing at the moment?
Just roughly cutting out a piece of steel just so I can extend the other bracket for the gusset that goes on the inside here. And that was a part of the original truck. That was a part of the international travel all from the 50s. But where I've done the modifications in the back, I do need to extend it like this one here. So just quickly template it and then just tack it onto the other panel, and then at some point I can weld these into the back just for some extra strength. But to be honest, I think they look quite nice having a gusset there. Probably doesn't add any strength at all, purely cosmetic.
I don't even know what that is. So what is your plan for today, now that it's cooled down a bit?
Right, so today I want to, I need to do something with the rear engine lid seal. Like, we've added an engine lid from a bus on the back of BedBug, but I don't currently have any strips that go around the outside to hold the rubber sealing, which is this here, the rubber seal that sits behind. So what I need to do is fabricate a couple of little right angle return edges, some strips that I can weld in just so I can push this rubber seal into. And then that way, once I know that the tailgate is in the right, so the engine lid's in the right place, then I can get on with doing the body working on the back.
It's handy that you know how to, you have the ability to make all these things, isn't it? Because you wouldn't be able to buy them, I'm guessing.
I don't know if those parts exist, and a lot of these parts certainly do not exist for a Beetle / international American truck homemade thing. So the way this was built, and somebody had the back end of a truck and the back, front end of a Beetle, and they've kind of mashed them together. None of those parts were original as such, they just made them fit, and that's pretty much what I'm having to do in the restoration process, is just make stuff fit. I mean, it doesn't have to be amazing, it just has to be good, and that's what the customer's after. He's after a good standard. It's not going to be a show car, it's more going to be like a promotional car for him. So, but at the end of the day, it's got to be solid and it's got to be safe. So that's another important factor.
Burning Bananas, I love that username.
Oh wow, that is great. I like that.
Burning Bananas says, love your channel.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah,
it seems like the BedBug's had quite a bit of a following, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so we kind of hoped that it would, this vehicle, because it's so unusual, isn't it, that it would get a bit of interest on YouTube.
Yeah, I've always said from the start that BedBug is a Marmite car. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I mean, some people would think it's absolute sacrilege getting an oval Beetle and chopping it to put a international truck back end, but then it's the other way around. An international Traveller nowadays is probably, a 50s car is probably worth a huge amount of money. And to have these two grafted together is a weird combination. Super rare. I've never seen anything like it. But it would be nice to keep it being this kind of rare, mashed up car. I think that was what makes it interesting. It's not a Beetle at the back. Somebody has actually grafted on the complete back end of an American car, which makes it super rare. And I think that's one of the reasons why the customer that we're working for purchased it in the first place, because the guy is really into his rare and unique cars, or phantom cars that don't exist but he's got. And so this is right up his street, and I like a challenge, so do you guys, so that's how this came about. We took the challenge on.
Do you think when they cut these vehicles, do you think they made another one? Right, with the back end of the Beetle?
Do you think there is an international Traveller front end with the back end of an oval bolted to it?
It's true though, because what did they do with the other half of the car?
We don't know, but I suspect, judging by the damage that was on the front of the Beetle, it's had quite a heavy impact and it's kind of twisted the cab. But I think the Beetle, the oval Beetle originally that it came from, was in quite a big accident and maybe in quite a state. And then maybe somebody had the back end of this Traveller, and then they came up with this crazy idea after drinking too much to graft these two cars together.
Cheesy Feet says, are you a mechanic?
So in the UK, I was a fully qualified trained mechanic for many years, and then went on to vehicle restoration, mainly on Volkswagens and classic cars. And then we go to Japan, so theoretically, yes, I am a mechanic, but a mechanic that's had the hobby of messing around with cars as well. So a bit of both, hobbyist slash mechanic.
Did you learn to restore cars at college, or?
No.
So
at college they teach you how to weld. I think there was it was mainly arc welding and MIG welding at the time. So you learn the basics there. And then when I started working on old Volkswagens, there was an element of welding, but I was more into the mechanical side. I did the apprenticeship was 4 years of mechanical engineering, so it was mainly around engines and things like that, air-cooled and water-cooled cars. And then years and years later, I worked for a company that they restore absolute basket cases of Volkswagens. You know, they're totally rotten, so it's total body off restorations, and so that's what I got into. And then after doing the restorations, it was into the bodywork, the prep side, and then the paint. So it pretty much covered everything. And not only that, after the car's done, you then got to do the interior, the wiring, and the rest of it. So it progressed. It started with mainly engine work, and then it turned into more restoration work. But as I mentioned, in Japan, I've got hardly any tools to do this kind of work. And so I'm just kind of thinking out the box on how to repair this car in an economical way without having to blow my budget on expensive tooling. And you know, as I said before, in the future I would like to have the proper tooling to do a better job, and it will save me a lot of work. But for the time being, this kind of work can be carried out by anybody.
And Cheesy Feet, I think I'm not sure if it's a him or her, has just joined. So they're asking what are you working on at the moment?
Cheesy Feet, I love that name. So we are working on Project BedBug. It's got a playlist on YouTube, and it is it's a project of ours that has a front end of a Volkswagen Beetle, an older Beetle, a very early one, and then the back end of an American truck. So as well as restoring it, we're also customizing it.
Sorry, it's a bit difficult to get it all in, but yeah, this is one of the projects at the moment. And then there's another Beetle over here. Cheesy Feet saying that's so unique.
Yeah, well, we've heard lots of names for this car, but unique is one that I like to use. It's totally unique. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. I mean, it's a weird combination, but even though there's some bits that are a bit quirky and it may not work, but we won't know until it's totally done. But so far, the customer's happy with the way this is looking, and he's had so much input. But as well as that, a lot of people that are watching the BedBug playlist on YouTube, the long play videos, they're having a lot of input into the way this car is shaping and taking form as well. So it's nice to get everyone involved in this project. It's not just us, it's not just the customer, it's you guys as well that have actually built this car. So
yeah, it was actually someone watching that named the car.
Yeah, even the name was from one of our subscribers. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and it's nice to share ideas, and you know, sometimes there's things that you might not have thought of as well.
Yeah, I mean that's how these kind of cars are built. They're built with ideas, aren't they? You know, somebody comes up with oh, should we do this? Shall we do that? And most of the time, nothing happens from it. But it just takes someone crazy dude to say, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly something like this. I don't know when this was built. I'm guessing it was a very, very long time. Maybe in the 70s or 80s this creation was originally created. But you know, they sort. It was seen through, it was done, it was probably roadworthy at some point, but it became so bad. I mean, it was so rotten. It was patched up with all sorts of sealant and just patchwork together. So we've got a chance now to put it right and make it what it was supposed to be.
I can't wait to see it finished.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it finished either.
Especially if you compare the first photo.
Yeah,
when you were pushing it in, we were pushing it inside to the workshop.
It was a totally different car, wasn't it?
Yeah, even looking back now, it's changed so much. Cheesy Feet said it's so impressive that someone just made that up. Like how?
Yeah, I mean, how do you come up with an idea like this? It is crazy, but I really do think that they had a couple of old scrap cars kicking about, and they just thought, you know, let's see what we can do with it. I mean, the way it was put together wasn't very nice, but the way I look at it, it must have been done on a massive budget and maybe just for a bit of fun. It wasn't done in any professional way. The panels are kind of just mashed together and welded over, but I think it would have been really, really fun to build. Originally, I think somebody had a real giggle with this, and then after they'd finished it, they had something completely unique. Whether it was usable as a pickup truck's debatable. It doesn't really have a bed inside the back or anything like that, but on the unique scale, it must have been crazy to see this car driving around.
Yeah, so the customer, these are the things that the customer, you'll have to remind me because I can't remember everything, but these are added. What are these called again? Yeah, so
he wanted skylights from a bus to be installed into the roof, so I did try and put him off a bit because the shape of the roof's totally different to a bus, but we managed to get those in. As well as that, he wanted semaphore indicators down these side pillars, the ones that kind of pop out on an early one, so we had to graft panels in and the pillar for this as well. He wanted a smaller back window put in here because it had a really large window, and that's off a bus. So he managed to get that panel, and we've grafted that in. We've added some crotch coolers down here on the quarter panels, so these can open and allow some cool air in the summer to circulate around the cab area. And then we've done lots of little modifications.
You made it lower as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we've made a custom narrowed adjustable beam for it so we can lower the front. We've changed the wheels. We've removed one of the horn grills off the front wing so it looks like a standard model. We've deleted the US spec bullet indicators. We fabricated a whole rear end for the back and the bed covers, and we've added some vents in the side for the engine. I mean, the journey so far, just
on
on
this as well. What's this?
The bed cover, we've made the bed cover for the back there, and then we wanted it opening.
I think he's planning to put, is it a motorbike or something on the back?
Yeah, there was before I made the cover, he was talking about actually putting a motorbike or a scooter in the back on display. But then he wanted a rear cover. But then he wanted this middle cover. So what I've done is I've made the framework extremely strong. I mean, it can hold people on there.
Yeah, you had a little jump on it, didn't you?
Yeah. So even when the bed cover's on here, if you wanted to display a scooter on the back, say at a show or in his shop, he can do that, and he doesn't have to worry about it being a weight issue. So yeah, it's quite unique. I mean, something like that you could even easily get away with a bit of tarp over the back or something like that. But I think this is going to look quite trick once it's done.
And Cheesy Feet says, how long has the work on the car taken so far? And that is a lot of work.
It's a huge amount of work, and we must be in, 4 months now?
What's it, May, June, July? This is 4 months now.
It's 4 months in, but one thing I didn't factor in was the weather in Japan. I've actually slowed down quite a lot. The temperatures in the workshop have been, hitting 50 degrees. It's been extremely difficult to work. I've been having to take breaks all the time, keep hydrated, and it does mess with your mind a bit as well. So if you can't think straight, you won't be able to cut straight. So
also the materials are different because of the heat, aren't they?
Yeah, everything from your sprays to sealants to treatments and fillers. They have a working temperature, and it certainly isn't 50 degrees. So it's almost a waiting game to get work done. I mean, we totally smashed this, but we have found a lot more work than we anticipated. There was a huge amount of underside repairs regarding the floors and things like that, and the list goes on and on. So there was a lot of things that we couldn't see. So it was difficult to quote for the whole job and how long it would take, as the whole thing was covered in filler, and we don't have X-ray vision. So it's been a bit of a learning curve with this one.
Donald Lean says BedBug is definitely a 1956 model. 1955 had different ribbed doors, gas tank, heater outlets and more.
Yeah, there's been a bit of I'm not really into the whole specs and things like that. I'm sure the customer knows. We had this conversation before about what it should be. It said 55 on the key ring, and then somebody said it was a 56. So that's where we're going for. What did you say? 56?
He said it's definitely a 1956.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, so that's exactly the same comments we had before. So
It might be the same person.
Everyone's thinking along the same lines then.
Yeah,
because it was about a mid-50s bug. 56. It's a good year to be chopped up.
I'd love to know the history of the car, actually.
I would love to know what happened to this car. I mean, in the future, maybe we'd be able to find some kind of history using the chassis number, or maybe even try and find some old photos, or even find the original builder of this truck who was in America. So, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
And Sendit says in California in the 70s and 80s, a lot of kit cars were based on the Volkswagen Beetles like Badger Bugs and Beach Buggies.
Yeah, Bajas and Beach Buggies.
They did sell a few fiberglass pickup kits also, Cool Times.
Do you know what, there was an absolute, around that time it was nuts. There was so many kits, and that's not to mention things like the 356 kits that came in a bit later. There was some Ferrari based kits, all these crazy, was it a Nova as well? Crazy sports cars using the VW chassis, and in some cases the chassis were actually the same length. If you had, say, a long wheelbase buggy, you could wheel your Beetle into your garage, take the body off, get the fiberglass shell, bolt it down, drive out in your beach buggy. And that was just insane that you could change your car that dramatically with what I consider hardly any work. It's probably something that you could probably do in a week or something like that. But yeah, they produced so many kits. And in the UK, there was even a company that made a Beetle van kit completely out of fiberglass. And I think also back in the day, MP, I don't know how many they produced, but they made a racing body, complete fiberglass one, which is quite crazy as well. But just to think that this chassis, the way that it was built, where it's a body and a chassis separately, that you could just take the body off and put whatever you wanted on, just makes it a really cool car. Especially if you're into modifying. I mean, that's a modifier's dream, isn't it? You could have a beach buggy or a Porsche or a Ferrari or a sports car, and the list goes on, pickup truck.
There are some cars that we see driving along. There's one that looks like a Volkswagen camper van, but it's a small one, and it looks...
Yeah, so years and years and years later, Subaru made a K-truck called a Samba, and they blatantly ripped off Volkswagen split screen, and they produced a front end to make it look like a splitty bus. And it's really quirky that people are still kind of copying these things and making kits, so you can get yourself a miniaturized Volkswagen split screen van based on a Samba, which is great.
But do they have the Volkswagen badge?
See, there's a whole licensing thing about using badges, but I have seen them with Volkswagen badges.
See, because that's what confused me, because they're smaller and they look very modern and clean.
Yeah, they're definitely not, an early bus. But yeah, there's, I don't know if you're allowed to do it or not now, and we produce, obviously there's rights and there's protections over badges and things like that. But I have seen a lot of them wearing Volkswagen badges.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Yeah.
Just on another note, with our everyday car, we've had it'll be 2 years in October.
Yes.
And we haven't put it through an MOT yet. They did do the MOT at the place that we bought it. It was just a car dealership, so they sorted it out for us for 2 years. And we weren't really sure how to go about the MOT, but we found out, didn't we?
Yeah,
and
which is quite interesting.
You've got different options. You can go to special centres if you know about cars, apparently, and you can do it yourself.
Yeah, it's in Japan it's called is it a shaken? A shaken test. So in the UK you have something called an MOT, which is something that you've got to do every year, and it's a check on your vehicle just to make sure it meets the minimum requirements to be legally on the road, and that is it. It's minimum. So people get all kind of happy when their car passes the MOT, but they've got to understand that is like the minimum. It's not. It doesn't mean that your car's going to be reliable or anything like that. They don't check things like how reliable your engine is. It's things like brakes, suspension, wear and tear, things like that. Just make sure that everything is working efficiently and safely. And in Japan, they do the same kind of test, and it's done on a large centre. It's called a shakin. It's every 2 years, and you can get a company to do it on your behalf, or you can drive your car to one of these centres and go through the various stages of the test. So one test would be checking the brakes, one would be checking the headlights, etc. And I guess that every time you go through one of these, it's signed off or whatever.
So do you think they let you do the work there and then they test it at the end?
No, I think you're actually responsible to be sitting in your car to drive to each station in the centre.
No, but this one said you need to know about cars and you can do some of the bits yourself.
Yeah, I guess if your washing level's low or whatever, or you don't know how to turn the lights on, or you can't communicate clearly, I think that would be a problem.
Yeah, I think we'll probably just go to, there's a shop called Yellow Hat, which you don't actually go to that much, because it's, you go get most of your stuff from Sekichu and Komeri, don't you?
Yeah, so you'd think that I'd get most of the stuff to restore this car from a car shop, but I've actually been getting a lot of this stuff from a hardware shop.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
so,
totally different.
Yeah, we weren't sure exactly how to do the first one, but you have to take quite a bit of paperwork, as we know that Japan loves paperwork. And yeah, once we get the first one done, we'll probably be able to share how much it costs and the process and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's important that people know, especially if they're a car owner in Japan. I mean, I think in the UK it's always a big deal is how much it costs for MOTs. And then on top of that, you've got other things, haven't you? You've got servicing, you've got your tax, you've got your insurance, and it just kind of escalates. But it's all part of the ownership of the car. And the overall price of the ownership of the car in Japan, we haven't really kind of figured out yet. So it would be nice to do a video with how much it costs to drive a car in Japan.
I do think that the insurance is quite cheap, considering we had no history of driving in Japan.
It's a compulsory insurance, isn't it? It's something that everybody has to have. But I think when it comes to the price of things, where they have a K-car bracket, which is a 660cc or below engine car, that has to be within certain specifications. And it's called a K-car, but they are cheap to buy and they're cheap to run and they're cheap to, keep on the road in Japan. A little bit like those little K trucks that you see. And so a lot of people do that. It's really popular for younger people as well, because when you're starting out and you don't have a huge amount of money, it's the best place to start is a small K car. And then I believe that classic cars and older cars have got a different kind of bracket where it can be more expensive to keep on the road every year.
You also get a special parking space if you've got a K car when you go shopping and to restaurants, don't you?
Oh, there's loads of perks of having a small car, where they don't normally have a space for, a car where a normal car space, and they make it tiny and they put the K car logo on there. It's perfect. Yeah, you'll find them everywhere. Those little awkward spaces, these cars can get in them.
Also, when you buy a car in Japan, you have to prove that you've got somewhere to park it as well, because they don't have, what's it called, off-road parking.
That's
when
right.
You leave it on the street. There's no cars parked on the street as such, unless it's just for a few minutes. So when you buy a normal size car, you have to prove to them that you have a parking space. But when you have a K car, you don't need to show them any proof of this. Donald Lean says, it may be titled as a 1955 because in the USA, Volkswagen's started model year in 1955. The 1956 model year began in July 1955. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Some cars were still titled as 1955 when they should have been titled as a 1956.
Ah, that is really interesting. I mean, I don't know when this car was registered. I guess I could read the chassis number to get the date of the year of manufacture. Yeah, it's quite interesting because it has, somebody has written 55 on the keyring, and most people think it's a 56. I mean, to me, it's irrelevant. it's too late to save it now. It is what it is. But it's really nice to know, you know.
I think especially if you're a fan.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to say that is what it is, what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald, how did you become interested in these Beetles? Have you got one yourself? Because it's interesting to know, isn't it?
Definitely.
How people get into. I mean, I think you got into Volkswagens a little bit by accident.
Yeah, my Volkswagen. Yeah, that was all by accident. I like Volkswagens in general. I've never been fixed on a certain year or something. I do like early bugs better. I do like the sloping headlight ones, but as for years and things like that, it's never really something I've looked into. I've got friends that are really good with the details on what model came with, you know, which spec. But I've never really kind of been one to kind of focus on that.
I think you think more about how to restore it probably than...
Yeah, that's right.
I think Donald really knows his stuff. I still think it's amazing when someone looks at a car and they can just see how the different bits and bobs, and they can just be like, that's from...
I know many people. Like my old boss was like that. He could approach a car, and as he's walking towards it, he could almost list the specifications of it. He could tell you what year it was and everything else like that, and what it should have and what it shouldn't have. And it was really interesting because the Beetle did evolve. You know, from when it started, they were constantly doing little bits and pieces, and if you had a really keen eye, you could, you know, dial into that and work out what year it was and what it should have and what was period correct and what wasn't.
I think we'll probably do about 3 more minutes. Japanese timing here. 3 more minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
If there's any more questions, but we'd love to know, Donald, how you got into your Beetle hobby or love. It's a little bit dusty in here, isn't it?
You had to say that, didn't you? It's a bit dusty in here.
Donald says, yes, 1956 and 1958. Parents bought a new 1963 Beetle when I was 5, so we'll indoctrinated.
Wow.
Oh, so it's from family, I guess. Yeah,
from family and from a very, very young age as well, especially at 5 years old. That must have been amazing, you know,
so probably it reminds him of his childhood and stuff.
Yeah,
which is, you said a lot of people, that's the reason why a lot of people get these cars, because they always wanted them when they were young.
That's right.
And stuff like that.
People buy these kind of cars because it's something they've always wanted, or another thing is when you're doing a car for somebody and it's bad, it's really bad, but it holds so much sentimental value that they're willing to spend beyond what it's worth just for that sentimental value, and kind of almost like reliving their youth or their dream. I think that's something kind of really nice about that.
Do you remember that car that you did in the UK and you told me to guess the budget? The yellow car.
Oh, yeah, the yellow Beetle, yeah.
Yeah, and my husband said to me, guess what the budget is? So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be really generous here, maybe £10,000 to fix it. And it was it like 50?
It's 70k.
70.
Yeah, that was probably one of the UK's most expensive Beetles, and that was a fully nut bolt, ground up restoration, acid dip, e-coated, different engine, different interior, everything was handmade and custom. The customer was extremely particular, and we ended up putting an injection engine in there and all sorts, and some crazy paintwork on there. But this is it. If that's what they wanted, I mean, it's not unheard of. You can spend that kind of crazy money.
I was shocked.
You can. I mean, that is that's an insane amount of money. I mean, I've heard of people spending that kind of money on split buses. And,
really?
Split screen buses, but never a Beetle. So that's quite interesting.
Send It says, bought my 1966 in 1975 for $800. Rebuilt the motor later that year. Wow.
Wow, that's great, isn't it?
$800, that's quite a good price, isn't it?
Oh, what year was that, though? That's quite a long time ago, isn't it?
It's a 1966 car, but he bought it in 1975. Oh yeah, so $800 would have gone a lot further, I guess.
Even in those days, I mean nowadays the prices of Beetles. I know they built millions of them and everything else like that, but millions of them are probably gone by now. And to get a good one, it's getting so difficult. Even in Japan, there seems to be quite a few Volkswagens, but the price they're demanding is extremely high for what they are. So.
You were lucky to get your hands on this one, weren't you?
Yeah, we were very lucky to find that one.
Yeah, this is you said it was a 1 year only.
It's
probably Donald will know.
67, yeah. But it's what makes it also very special is, although it was stripped when we bought it, it's really, really original. I mean, it's got its original heater channels. We didn't even have to do floor pans on this one. It had a dent around the battery section and a bit of rust where somebody had put a jack or something underneath it. But the pans themselves are absolutely solid. And it's just.
It looks so nice.
Yeah,
I really like that
we painted
it
the original colour, but even down to original wings. It's got the original doors. Even the inside of the quarter panels haven't been cut for repairs or anything like that. It is actually really original, apart from the paint, which was three colours.
I really like this one. It just makes it look really like a car that you'd see in the movies.
Yeah, I mean it's come out really well so far. We've still got to fill it up. Still got oodles of work to do. Still got headlining, carpets, seats to cover, an engine to build. I'm not entirely sure where that's going to go yet. The engine was totally stripped with parts removed. When I say that they stripped it down for some kind of repair, nobody can tell me what. I am missing things like important things, barrels and pistons and such, and bits of tinware, but I'm not entirely sure whether it's worth actually rebuilding or not, or whether to kind of put another engine in there just as a temporary fix. So that'll be interesting. It is the original engine, so it is match numbers, so I'd love to use it, but I have got quite a few parts missing. Maybe what I'll do is I'll start measuring it up for bearings on the crank and cam and just see how close it is, see if it's had any machine work. Maybe I can buy some bearings, get the case fitted up at least to see what it could be, if it could work or not. But it's one of those things where I'd have to invest a huge amount of money just to keep it original.
Yeah, you're in two minds at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
One?
I mean, the quickest, easiest option is to put a 1600 twin port in the back and be done with it. And at the moment, it's got a 1500 single port, which is original. And the parts for, say, 1600 barrels and pistons are relatively cheap, easy to get hold of. Well, it's the 1500 ones, the lesser CC ones that are rare, they become more expensive. So it's kind of, nobody would know if I changed it to a 1600, but I would.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
So it sounds really weird, but yeah, I could just put 1600 barrels and pistons. But if I had the choice, I'd rather keep it totally original.
Yeah, Donald says 1967 has a lot of 1 year only parts.
Exactly.
That's the difficulty, isn't it?
Yeah, he's absolutely spot on. Yeah, 1 year only parts. But luckily for us, most of the 1 year only parts are still here. So,
and you were quite lucky to get a right-hand drive one as well, weren't you?
Yeah, right-hand drive. In Japan, a lot of the cars are imported, so a lot of the Volkswagens are left-hand drive. But there's something about having the right side of the steering wheel when you're driving. I mean, in the UK, I liked right-hand drive on the left-hand drive on left-hand road, and it worked fine. And it's the same over here in Japan. I think having a left-hand drive wouldn't be my first choice. Right-hand drive would. But this was an absolute wreck when we picked it up, wasn't it? It was blue and pink.
I forgot about that.
It did have quite a few, I think it was rats or mice living in there. They'd kind of munched all the interior. As I said, the engine was in a box in the back. Yeah, it wasn't a very nice car at all.
Looks really nice now.
But it's come out really nice, and
yeah,
we can't wait to get this one finished.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, just because it's nice and cool, and I'm sure you want to do lots
Yeah,
of
I've
stuff
got-
before the sun comes out.
I've got to get on with some work now, so I can create a video for you guys to watch on the weekend when you want to put your feet up with a cup of tea. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, thank you so much for your comments and joining us as always.
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us. And yeah,
Cheers.
and cheers.
Cheers. See you.
See you
Bye bye
next
from
time.
Japan.